Welcome to MMA. My name is Luke Bass, and welcome back to everyone who's already a subscriber to the channel. If you're not already a subscriber to the YouTube channel, please subscribe so you can see more great interviews, including one coming at you right now, a heavyweight MMA fighter on a 3-fight win streak. All of those professional wins have come via strikes and TKO. Welcome back to the show. Very excited to have Raiden Kovacs. Raiden, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back, buddy.
Always great to have you back. We are recording this April 2nd, and you will be fighting April 11th. So that's next Friday, about a week and a half away. You're going to be making your debut in the organization. You've obviously already had several pro fights. Your record is 3-2, 3-fight win streak. Like I had said in the intro, all by finish, but it's your debut for LFA. Before we get to the fight itself and your opponent, what does it mean to you to debut for LFA? Do you see that as kind of a step up in competition and in promotion? What are your thoughts about that?
Um, I would say, like, at this point, after fighting for so many promotions, it kind of gets to the point where you just go, "Oh, it's another promotion." So, on one end, it kind of feels like, "Oh, another day in the office, another fight promotion I'm with." But I do recognize it to be a step up, and that feels good after doing this for so long. Getting able to climb up to a more like reputable organization like LFA is definitely something that's very exciting, and I look forward to doing.
Sure. And speaking of that step up, your opponent is a step up. He's 4-1. So
Correct.
also a pro heavyweight. And for people that might not know why I keep emphasizing that, in MMA, pro heavyweight is a very knockout prone division. You've given some, you've taken some, you're now on a 3-fight win streak. So to get any type of momentum going in the pro heavyweight is definitely a challenge. You're fighting Steven Osplund for LFA. He's 4-1. You're 3-2, so it looks like a good matchup. He's also a big, tall guy like you. He's 6'5". I think you're 6'5", 6'6". He's also right
Right.
at the top of that weight scale as well, and he's coming off a TKO win. So, what are your thoughts about him? You coming in on a 3-fight win streak, him coming in on a 1-fight, but also a knockout. What are your thoughts on your opponent?
Oh man, I'm super excited for this one. It's not too often I get to fight somebody who I feel like is proportionally very similar to me. So it's kind of cool. Like we're kind of like two what would the word be? Um like anomalies. So when you kind of get like two in the same room, you're kind of like, whoa, how do we even like get this to like happen? Like finding one is hard enough, but the fact that we were able to get two. So I always like it when that happens. Um, Outside of that, he's a guy who I fought taller, lanky guys who, with his fighting style, is primarily a kickboxer. So I've had fights where I've done well against them, and I've had fights where I haven't done well against them. So at this point, I'm kind of like, all right, here we are, my old friend, ready to like see you again, tall, lengthy guy my size. So it's a good way of testing, like, hey, is what I'm doing consistently getting me the results I want? So I'm excited for that. Outside of that, don't know him too much as a person. I know he's lost like a bunch of weight, so he has my respect in like the sense that he's been at it for a while, and he's been able to like lose all this weight and kind of really, from what I understand, like turn his health around.
Mm.
So that's super cool. I always like seeing that. And to be able to do this on LFA, one of the bigger promotions is pretty exciting. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good test.
It definitely will be that great test. You train at Bauer House, gym, and some other places I know as well.
Mm-hmm.
Coming kind of back around, like you said, to the taller, lanky kickboxer that you've had success. You also had some losses against that style.
Right.
What does it mean to you to be, 2 years removed or 3 years removed? I mean, your win streak is three. I think that's about a year and a half, something like that, of a win streak,
Yeah.
maybe. So what are your thoughts of your development over that last year and a half, 2-year period?
I would say that it's the the record doesn't always dictate kind of the growth that happens behind the scene. So for me, like my losses were primarily what kickstarted a lot of like my areas of growth because I realized like, okay, what am I struggling with? What am I lacking with? And being able to find either like other coaches or other team members or other connections to then kind of like fix those or at least like manage some of the issues I was having really is like why I'm kind of here today. Because like with wins, wins are just kind of telling you, hey, what you're doing is working. For you to get really pivotal change, you have to kind of usually find out like, hey, something went wrong. So the fact that we've made those adjustments year and a half ago, 2 years, however long it was now, and being able to see like the fruits of the labor is very gratifying. It's something that feels pretty good in terms of like, do I care much about the streak? Do I care much about like, oh, it's been a year and a half or however long it has? To some degree, yes. Anyone that tells you no is kind of I think lying to you a little bit. But I definitely don't put much stock into it, because I don't control outcomes. I don't control results. I control performances and I control processes. And over the past year and a half, we've been doing real good work behind the scenes, and my ability to perform in the internal stuff, like what I do every day in the gym, out of the gym, has gotten so much better. So those are more of what I'm focused on. And the record or the streak or whatever it is because of that, not because, oh, something special happened that particular night. It's because I've been doing a bunch of important things in my everyday. So it's cool. It's exciting to see kind of the progress we've made. I take pride in that. I take joy in it. But I don't think too much about it because really I don't have any control over it. Um, I'm more focused on, man, how lucky I am, how fortunate I am to be able to do this, all the cool things I get to do, going out to Vegas, getting to meet the people I do, getting to expand the team like I have, making like the new connections in every fight camp, getting progressively better and better. That's what really like makes me happy. Makes me very tired at times. I'm very worn out. Like I'm definitely have been worn out from this camp, but feels good. Definitely grateful is what I would say is a
Well, that is
primary.
those are great insights, Raiden. I appreciate you sharing. I've had you on since you were an amateur, so you're
Yeah.
somebody that I absolutely love to follow. I got to see you fight. It was one of your later amateur fights, but I got to see you fight in your amateur career and been able to follow you through your pro career. So it's great to see the development for people that are, curious about that first, you've just finished your first 5 fights of being a pro. And I always say at the pro level, the first five really set you up for the next five. And after that first 10, but there's two sections of it.
Yeah.
After that first 10 total, that's where you kind of know, are you going to one of the bigger shows? Are you fighting for Dana White Contender Series or one of those things? I think Tough is still somehow going, but who knows? It's, are you going to the next one? Is I think Bellator kind of ended, but whatever. One of the other big shows that's out there. So, as far as predictions, do you want to make a prediction? You've given a great build up to this point. If you don't want to give a prediction, that's fine. If you do give a prediction, now would be the time. It's always great to have you on. It's really, you're just a few days, a week and a half away. What are your thoughts on the outcome of this fight, April 11th for LFA?
Man, well, after just saying, "Hey, I don't control outcomes," it'd be a little hypocritical
I
for me to be
know.
like, "Oh, I think
That's
X is
yeah,
going to
no,
happen."
I get it.
X is going to definitely happen. I think kind of the enjoyment from the sport is that we don't know what's going to happen. What I will say is, I'm confident about is that each performance we're going to get better and better. And for me, that the crux of that has been enjoying the process and enjoying competition more. So my goal isn't so much of like, oh, get X, knockout or X submission or X thing in X time. I'm more focused on, hey, can I be more aggressive? Can I be more relaxed? Can I increase my output? So I think the goal for this one, similar with the last one, is like, can I show a Raiden competing that is fun and is in like has entered flow state. That's the stage
Sure.
I am in my career. Is I want to see somebody who is able to be relaxed in the cage and to be creative. That's my primary goal because those are the fighters I like. You know, when we see like the real masters of the sport compete, your GSPs, your John Jones, Ilias, whatever, Volks. You see how just relaxed and like relentless they are. So I want the performance I'm looking for is a relaxed, competitive, urgent fight. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I see happening because we've been hard at work to produce a fighter that can do that.
Well, that makes perfect sense. I really appreciate you breaking us down. You mentioned flow state. We could do a whole hour
Yeah,
seminar on flow state, but it makes perfect sense that at this stage of your fight, this is your sixth pro fight. That's really what you're looking for, the personal, what you can control, the personal development. Can't wait to see what happens. Congratulations on a great matchup. I think matchups matter in many ways even more than promotions. LFA is great. You fought for 247, you fought all over. But the matchups are what goes on your permanent record, right? On
yeah.
your permanent record, it doesn't. You could fight in a barn with 10 people there, as long as it's sanctioned and legitimate doctors, whole thing. The
One of
reality
my fights
is,
was in a barn, I think, with like 20 people. So yeah, that's
was
happened.
it really?
One time, yeah, it was one of the amateur shows. I won't say who because
Okay, no, no, no. Hey,
I don't
fair
want to
enough, fair enough.
but it was
Uh,
like literally it was a barn and I think there was like 20 people there and I was like, oh wow, this is something.
there it is. Hey, but I am serious about the fact as long as it's sanctioned, both amateur and pro. Years
Yeah,
ago, when I was leading a Christian MMA gym out in the Philadelphia area, there was still somehow a couple promoters that weren't sanctioned and like absolutely never fight unsanctioned. As far as MMA goes, I know there's still like Naga and stuff. That's a different world. But anyhow, really great to see. I mean, fighting a 4-1 pro at 3-2, that is the next step up. Can't wait
yeah,
to see what happens. I really appreciate you coming on, and a shout out to your coach Rob, who always kind of keeps me in the loop. I appreciate him because I can't always follow every fighter out there. So if you've been on this
yeah.
show before and you're watching this, you'd like to come back on, just reach back out or have your coach in Coach Rob's case. So shout out to him. Really great having you on the show. Can't wait to see what happens. April 11th for LFA, my interviewee, my guest today on the show has been Raiden Kovacs. My name's Luke Payson. As always, thanks for checking out MMA Fancast. Thanks so much, bud.
No problem. Talk soon.